Hello everyone, my name is Pramod Dandekar and today we will discuss about why people are bad in communication. What is a poor communicator? People with poor communication skill may struggle for many reasons, including fear of conflict, impatience, being raised by people with weak communication habits. Whatever the source of the malfunctions, criterion behavioral indicate weak communication. 11 signs someone is bad at communicating. First is you don't pay attention to the person talking to you. You communicate distract when you allow yourself to be distracted by your phone, the television, or other people. Good communicator set aside their phone and tune out other distraction so that they can give their attention to a speak. Second is your universal statement. A universal statement describes saying something that sounds like a applied at all time to person. You never do want to ask is a universal statement. This type a sweeping language labels someone with absolute trait. In reality, the persons might honor request occasionally. The result is that a person feels incapable for receiving credit or any good action. Third is you assume you sorry. Third one is you assume you know what the other persons mean. This habit is hostile. Top a positive relationship. You might project a conclusion based on your feeling instead of what someone actual intend. Making assumptions block your ability to consider a person's explanation. You will have a hard time achieving an understanding when you close your off to new information. Fourth is you often interrupt people. This base pattern of cloud with making assumption. You may assume you won't know what someone means and want to skip over the long explanation. If that not want to some motivating you interrupt, you are a probable for poor listener. You focus too much on what you want to say and can't wait of your turn to speak. When you interrupt people too much, they learn to stop talking to you because you are not listening. Fifth, fifth is you are unwilling to compromise. You good promotion of communications involve reaching compromise the subject called to be manure such a where to order dinner but remain unwilling to budget. Everyone has an occasion when you can't compromise but relationship depend on balance both people to need to overcome your right attitude. Think about you are attached to getting your way to particular situation. Does the issue literally deserve your unwavering commitment? Sixth is you don't ask good question. You may be good listener and pleasant interact with however your communications with other fall short because you do not ask question to gain increased understanding. Good communicators saw behind common question like how are you to get the most from conversation. You should probe for more information. Often end question like what challenge are you are facing. Invite your person to provide more information about their thought, feeling and experiences. If you like your understanding of a situation is don't exist the conversation. Keep asking questions. Your difficult communication experience in the past may be result or resume things. Seventh is you like to pay the word boundism card. Word boundism is a defensive technique means deflect compliment accusation or demand of action. For example, if your partner says, why didn't you don't dishes? You say, what about vacuuming the car? You said you would vacuum the car. When you do this, you are refusing to take accountability. They refuse a toxic move because it does to any changes of a positive conversation about the original topic. Next is you ask you ask for permission when you should not. Effective communication is filled with phrases like would would to be okay if, or would you mind if it did. These phrases set you up to failure because they give the other person a chance to tell you no. The result is poor communication because you don't get what you want. Try to strengthen your communication skill by starting your deserve and explaining why they matter to you. Next is ninth, if you focus on the persons instead of the issue. The conversations typically as a topic like where you want to go and vacations or who should take a kid of Oscar practice. If you dislike what someone proposed to you, try to stop yourself from attracting the person's a straight goal of opinion does not represent that person's entire personality or worth. Then you focus on the persons. You can lapse into unfair criticism. Improving communications should consider the topic without judging the whole persons. 10th is you admire other people's feeling. Your poor communications can sometimes upset people. You may assume that someone would appreciate your joke, but when you that person try to explain that you are rude, you try to shut down the conversations by saying, "Oh, come on, can't you take the joke?" This attractive invalidates persons' feeling and effectively destroy con- con- convocations with other. You go beyond not being received on the conversations. You refuse of accept the premise of the conversations of real. Never dismiss someone feeling because you don't get to determine the reality of other people emotions. Last one is you think people should know what you want. Relationships can destroy it into a heart feeling and unmet need when people refuse to say what bothering them or what they want. You may be concealing the information because you long for the other person to recognize your distress. Unfortunately, people cannot read mind. You can't spare your much difficult by expressing your complaint clearly. Thank you for listening me.